Hello, welcome to Acapella Adventures, making tiny bites of solo actual play, using this half to test the Ideas of Meroch universe and the Ormegarten Module, a fantasy setting built with a 3D10 system, episode 57. Our characters are Igor Steinmann, a Russo-German themed Dwarven character, Mac Wolfsbane, Wyesley, and his buddy a mimic sword called Steven. Our adventurers in the area around the keep allied themselves with Fox, the halfling ranger, a Dagger, the axe woodsman, Winding the Thane, and local healer Elsa Medusa. Gertrude, through Wyesley, learns of their plight and becomes a patroness for the adventurers seeking help from some blue merchants. She's invited them to dinner twice already. They've had dinner with her once. And they are meeting with the lizard of the Primarium Azurian. He will bring up peace with the lizardmen, has expressed interest in the Millwheel, so he seems to get a little bit excited when he hears that they've actually been to Ormegarten. He inquires if they have still any legal claims to the keep. For those of you who have listened to the Maniculum, all right, they have a very different view. They're incorporating some French legal and interests, and my single source, unfortunately, is a very narrow 13th century book by Penguin Books about things I'll have to get. It's probably buried somewhere on my website, what I use, but in that blog post, it basically describes that they have a little bit different rules, especially where they focus on, which was like more southern England than northern England, and Scotland, and places beyond, especially across the channel. They pretty much exclude that from the book. In this book, there is the concept of the legal concept that if you go in and you basically use force to evict people, very colonialist, but you know what, that was a period, and then proceed to sue in court more or less against a very corrupt, very not balanced legal system, you could eventually achieve your goals of ownership of the property. That's what's happening with these cults, is they're not only trying to manipulate through brute force, they're also trying to manipulate through legalize. So the Primarium has in the past supported adventurers going in as long as they sell them the rights to go, and basically if you conquer a room, you then own that room because you're making a legal claim on the room. It's a little bit more convoluted than that, but there's so many layers of history on top of this. It's kind of like the Forgotten Realms in that way, that someone could make a claim and then start trying to prove it in the courts that they have a right to a structure of fortification. Ormegarten is a huge structure of fortification with lots of abilities to be claimed. Right now, the keep probably owns the most of the reclaimed areas, but that's because they've been buying them up and supporting the previous group of adventurers. How true is that now? We don't know. Now, this is sort of a legal aside. That's what's happening, is the adventurers are going in order to claim the property and then need to go to court and back it up. It's not the same as, it is XP for gold, but your sources of gold are different. I wanted to play around, like, yeah, you don't have to rob people, but you could negotiate with them, you could get them to sell your rights, you could do all sorts of things. Very curious to follow up on that. So, I have to eventually settle up a sue for peace sort of deal agreement, but the Primarium is willing to test them I propose that you should go get me the Millwheel, bring it back, and if you do that within the set time of 2 weeks, then I will absolutely support you going up to Ormegarten, but you need to do things for me, and that includes selling off your rights. I expect you to have honest dealings with me, and we'll make sure you get compensated for giving up these rights to us. All right? So, that's their deal. They had another group of adventurers that supported a different player character, whereas running adventures sort of at work. When we ran across each other, you would like spend 10 minutes in an hour with someone, you get a lot of playing done. Role playing, like choices and decisions. And I had my dice on me, so I could always check them. So, he also says, hey, look, if you can talk to the lizardmen and get them to stop opposing the mill as much, I'd also appreciate it. It's a great thing for everybody. It'll help with the economic growth in the area, and that's what we'll do. All right, so they're a little hesitant on it. They do want to test. They do want this thing, but also it's like, well, they don't want to hand the keys to another cult for a blue dragon to move in. It could be really problematic. The area is sort of like Colorado, so you could be a dragon in the mountains in a high plains desert. And that's exactly what the blue dragons will be moving into. There's enough force for a green dragon. There's enough swampy, murky water pressure areas that you have to have sort of a high swamp area in some places. And of course, mountains for red dragons. And ice and snow for white dragons. That's something for everybody here. And with a little bit of manipulation, they can make it more swampy for the black dragon. That's what's going on. So, I think that means they're going to head back, talk to Gertrude again next time, and we'll see if they have any adventures in there. So, y'all enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. If you like this particular little series of adventures, like and subscribe if you want to. Talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.